Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is Sunday, the 5th of November 2023. Today's video is Gaza, another victim of Islam. I received an email about 2034 Saudi Arabia is putting a bid to host the World Cup for soccer in 2034. And that's more than 10 years from now. It's quite a bit of time, and we don't know what will happen. So I actually didn't give it much thought until a couple of days later. I read about Saudi Arabia is kicking off the Riyadh season. Like last year, they have tourists and celebrity going from all over the world, and they are celebrating, and they do fireworks, not fire like bombs falling on them, but I mean fireworks, and they are enjoying life. And that is going to happen soon, and one of the people going there, the former boxer Mike Tyson, and many people, actors and actresses, and so on and so forth. And that got me thinking, because next to Saudi Arabia is what we see. Gaza, and the people of Gaza are suffering tremendously. So what is going on? Arabs and Arabs, they are brothers supposed to be. But as I examine the situation, we have to ask ourselves, are the people of Gaza really Arabs? That's a vital question, because always the Palestinians are using the slogans of "we're all Arabs," so that they will include Egypt, North Africa, everybody, and we're all Muslims. No, we're not all Arabs, and we're not Muslims. These are empty slogans. Okay, I'm going to explain about why people of Gaza are not Arabs, and this is recorded in history. Unfortunately, they were deceived, and they followed the Arabian narrative. The Arabian narrative that Saudi Arabia and most of the Gulf region now kicking it out, getting rid of it. The region is burning, especially Gaza, and Saudi Arabia enjoying life. Saudi Arabia in the past took responsibility to finance Egypt, and Egypt was responsible for the destruction of Israel, the eradication of Israel. Because in the Islamic teaching, at the end of time, all the Jews, the Muslims, have to destroy something called Jews. All of them, young, old, big and small, have to die, have to be killed. No exception. Okay? Probably Hitler was more merciful, because if you are a Jew living in Argentina at the time of Hitler, he wouldn't bother himself with you so much. If you are a Jewish person living in Brazil or in America, he wouldn't care so much. But the Islamic teaching, you have to get rid of them all. And one Muslim clerk was saying, it's good that the Jews established a homeland because they can all come to one spot and we can destroy them all instead of going hunting them down in Argentina, in Brazil, in Europe, here and there, one by one is not easy. But when they are in one spot, you can drop one atomic bomb on them, on all of them, and get rid of them all at once. Job done. Well done. So let's see here what Saudi Arabia, which was supporting this nonsense for a long time, now is turning the eyes the other way, and they are enjoying life. And the social media in Saudi Arabia is divided now. The young people want to live. They don't have to deal with any of this nonsense. They paid lots of money to support this nonsense and they got nothing. I understand. The older generation, probably the ones who were brainwashed of the Arabian style stuff, we have to wait for them to disappear. So Saudi Arabia is not interested. What about Egypt? Egypt actually is not interested in the Palestinians anymore. They are saying also we had enough since 1948. Our young people are killed for your sake, for your cause that is not really a just cause, and I'm going to talk about that. Now, despite of the desperate situation, Egypt is not opening the border for the Palestinians to come, because they know if they come, as they let them in southern Lebanon, they destroyed Lebanon. As they were let in Jordan, they wanted to kill the father of King Abdullah, King Hussein. They wanted to kill him and claim Jordan. So wherever they go, destruction follow. So nobody wants them. Nobody wants their issue, their Palestine, this style stuff. They don't want it. People tired of this. And they are using that slogan, Arabs. I'm going to see. I had to read and find out whether they are really Arabs. It's recorded in the Bible, in the Old Testament especially. Somebody tells me the Old Testament has been distorted or it's not good. Go to history books. It doesn't matter. But I found in the Bible, in the Old Testament, that the Palestinian existed way before the coming of Abraham. They came from the island of Crete, and they settled. They were fishermen. They settled in Gaza. Yes, there was some dispute between them and the local who lived there. And anyway, they established themselves there. Good for you. They lived there for a long time. And then came man. His name was Abraham. And this man claimed, I didn't see, no one did. He claimed that God gave him this land. How do we know? I don't. But despite he had that claim, he didn't claim the land. He went and it's registered, it's recorded. He bought the land and he paid for it. It's not because God told him, oh, I give you this land. He went and he stole it. He bought it with money. I don't know how much money he paid or how many pieces of gold or silver he bought it for, but he bought it from the inhabitant of this land. And he lived there, and he had his wife, and I spoke of that before, that he made a mistake, and he kicked his servant Hagar with her son Ishmael to the desert of Arabia. That was a mistake. In my opinion, that was a big mistake. You should take care of your children. Okay? You allowed yourself to have sexual relationship with Hagar. Her son is your son. Even if she's a low-life woman, her son is your son. You take care of him. You raise him up. But he didn't. He kicked them to the desert of Arabia. And that was like a death sentence. And he kept Isaac with him. Isaac, the son of Sarah, his wife, stayed with him. From Isaac, all the Jews came. From Ishmael, all the Arabs came. The Arabs came while already the people of Palestine existed in Gaza. And yes, there was some dispute here and there, like any two countries. Sometimes there is dispute about the border, and sometimes you fight, and some skirmishes here and there because of dispute over the water, who uses the water, the grazing area, and so on and so forth. But it was not a religious fight between two. It was fight like between any other two nations. No religious war until Islam came. Islam came. Islam, as Abraham had a vision or whatever, God told him, I give you this land. The founder of Islam claimed, nobody saw, nothing. He claimed that Allah told him, or he saw a creature called Gabriel coming with a donkey or a mule with wings. And he took him to the highest heaven, and therefore this became a holy place, because he ascended to heaven from the Temple of Solomon. So the Temple of Solomon is a holy place for him, and he ascended from there, and therefore he has to claim the land where the Jewish temple exists. And sure enough, they invaded this area, and they built that the mosque that you see with the golden dome on top of the temple. They claimed that land. And because they invaded and claimed this land, it became Muslim land. The Jews have to die. That now became a Muslim land. They invaded North Africa. They invaded Spain. They claimed Spain as Muslim land. However, Spain is more fortunate than North Africa, Egypt. Also, actually, Israel is more fortunate than North Africa and Egypt, because these two countries are the only two countries who kicked the invaders out. They succeeded. Egypt, not yet. I hope soon. North Africa, not yet. Iran, not yet. Well, Iran, they speak their language, but they are heavily influenced by this thought of the founder of Islam. Okay? So there was no Arabs in Gaza. But when the Arabs invaded Gaza and invaded Israel and took over to the Gazan, that worked for me. That works for me. If I become a Muslim, support the cause of Islam, I have very good protection, and I claim the land with the Muslims. So it was a business relationship. not faith, not nothing. Huh? Invade and claim that land as my own. And they don't get rid of this idea because it's an Arabian idea. And Arabs like to invade because they lost Spain. Spain is too far to pay attention to now. But the dream did not die to reclaim Spain. The dream hasn't died. But let's claim that area near us first, near Arabia, near Egypt, where we have money from the oil and troops in Egypt, Egyptian army, and border with Israel so we can always push them out. So, since the United Nations divided this land between the Palestinians and Jews, and the Palestinians had more land than the Jews in 1948. They had more land. But every time they tried to destroy the Jews or push them to the sea as they wanted around them in the sea, Israel will claim land from them and use it as a buffer zone, and after that they use it for settlement, for settlers, build homes for settlers. Okay? That happened in 1948, 1956, 1967, and 1973. Every time Israel won. Even 1973, some nations like Egypt say we won. Yes, in a way, yes, because you managed to claim the Sinai Desert. However, Golda Meir said when that war 1973 was going on, the Israeli managed to separate the two divisions, the second Egyptian division and the third. They open an opening and they cross the Suez Canal to the Egyptian side, and they engulfed the third division. No supply was going to the half of the Egyptian army who was fighting had no supply. And Golda Meir on that day, she said, I remember that, for the very first time, the Israeli forces are fighting in Africa. Yeah. In the Suez Canal, you're in Asia. On the Sinai Desert, you're in Asia. You cross the Suez Canal to the other side, you're in Africa. The Israeli forces penetrated all the Egyptian defenses and crossed. The Israeli forces were about less than 100 miles from Cairo, and there was no forces to stop them in Cairo. But they decided to stop. And at this time, President Sadat came to his senses. We cannot continue that. Let's find peace. And he agreed to give up fighting in exchange for land. Egypt received the Sinai Desert again with the condition that you don't put heavy military equipment there. That's a buffer zone. He agreed. We took the Sinai Desert again. It has oil, it has minerals, it has gold. They gave it back. And they were trying to do the same with Syria. Syria doesn't want to do that. They still have that dream. We have to kill you all. Okay. That was 1967. They lost the Golan Heights. It's still under the dominion of Israel. That Arabic dream, Arabian dream, Muhammad's dream to get rid of the Jews, Saudi Arabia and most of the Gulf countries came to the realization that this is nonsense. They want their people to live and enjoy life. The Palestinians are bombed every day and they don't give a hoot about it. They don't care. The Egyptian, same thing. They are not open, they don't want Palestinian, period. They are bad news when they come in because they are coming with the mentality of the Arabs. Take over, as they did in Jordan. Okay? And as they did in Lebanon, by the way. Southern Lebanon became Palestinians. Hezbollah. This is all Palestinians living there, causing a lot of trouble to Israel and to Lebanon. Why Egypt has to open to that? What for? What do we get? What did we get from you? Other than pain. My father fought in 1948. My uncle was in 1956 war and 1967. My uncle from my father's side. In 1967, I myself know of people, I personally know people died in 1967. In 1973, I know of close relatives. Some were killed and some were badly injured. Why? Why should I carry on with your agenda? Want to destroy a particular race or type of people that you don't like because you have an ignorant person came 1400 years ago telling you nonsense that these people ought to be destroyed completely. What for? Take a step back and ask yourself, why do you want to destroy these people? Whether it's the Israelis, the German, the Chinese, the Japanese, why? Why do you want to do that? So, now, this is the conclusion. The people that stood with the Palestinians for so long, the Egyptians especially put our lives on the line for their sake. The Saudis put a lot of money to support this nonsense. And now Qatar, but believe me, within a couple of months, Qatar too will say enough. Because the world community, all the people of the world will put stress on Qatar to stop doing that. Okay? There will be only Iran, and Iran, how much can you continue supporting them with money? Money will run out and you will be left alone. Learn to live. Learn to enjoy life. So, what we see is pretty soon, instead of getting rid of Israel, the world's actually, what I say it, the world is trying to get rid of your ideology, get rid of you. Thank you very much, and we hope to hear from you.